All right, everyone. This is another session of our special Slap School series about the importance of mindset. And really, mindset comes down to our health and how we take care of ourselves. So we've got Candace Lawrence and Kim Trager from kimandcandace.com, who are phenomenally knowledgeable and just wonderful, but also just dear friends of mine. So hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great. I'm so happy to be talking with you guys. I can say for everyone who watches that I'm very public about the fact that I have been on a long journey to sort of get out of just being a total type A freak of nature, weirdo business owner, and to actually think about things like my adrenal glands and my mental calm and my vagus nerve and all these things, my gut and all these things that matter. But you guys have been a very important part of that journey. So.
Well, it's so good. It's so good to talk to you and share some information, because you're not the only one.
No, it's really
not
common.
the only entrepreneur that feels that way.
Yes. So on that note, tell us about what you guys do, and then we'll go from there.
So we have an online practice of coaching and educating individuals. Our focus is primarily getting women to feel better fast. And our background is over 25 years experience in a brick and mortar practice, where I'm trained as a chiropractor and a yoga instructor, and Candace.
And I am Chinese medicine, 500-hour practical nutrition. And, we say we help women get better fast. And we also have a dear part in our hearts, because we are both the moms of sons. And we understand completely that, men also are desperately looking for, connection to their bodies,
so that we can actually be present for ourselves, for our family and friends, and for our businesses.
Yeah, right.
So I was not planning to talk about this with you, but this is so interesting. So one of the things I've heard you guys say is that women tend to be more open and conscious about taking care of their bodies than men. Mm-hmm. And interestingly, I often say that men are actually easier slapsters for us to work with, because they just, do the plan. They're all business. They get things done. And it's actually really, I just had this aha, that's actually very profound, because what does it look like to help women sort of get more in charge of their business and help men get more comfortable softening and recognizing that it's about being connected to others in their body? I mean, it's actually, that dichotomy is really interesting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we see that every day. I'll have a male patient come in and they say, "All right, tell me what I got to do." I'm here because
I'm a male. I'm a male in a female body, I think. Tell me what to do.
Tell me what I got to do. My wife made me come in here. Right. She said, "You're going to do something to me. What do I got to do?" Right. And then you have to boom, 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 boom. Here's what you have to do. And they go, "Okay, fine." And they leave.
Whereas as women, our hormones are different. Guys have a dopamine-driven brain. Give them the issue, and they're going to do it step by step. Mm-hmm. They get that. As women, we've got our hormones changing us all the time, and that changes other parts, especially our brain,
right?
But our adrenals and our thyroid. So that affects how we approach situations.
Fascinating. That's so interesting. I had never thought about it like that before, but it's really interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Really interesting. Okay, so broadly speaking, you guys have a wealth of experience in sort of all things to do with wellness, and talking to you guys is so interesting. We also have in common being business owners, and we know that being a business owner is stressful on the best day, right? So what's sort of a first piece of advice you would give to a business owner as you think about the kind of the sustained stress that a business owner is under all the time? How do you manage that and take care of your body?
I think the first thing that I would say is consistency. Mm-hmm. There's a few, there's a phrase that's thrown around. It's called white lines. And it's those things that are like non-negotiables. And So what I see because we've seen this in action for so many years, what makes someone a business owner, because we do see a lot of business owners, what makes them some better than others, and how to handle, the 24/7, 25/7, even, the stressors.
Yeah.
And we find that it's those people that they have certain things that are just non-negotiable. Like I get up every morning, I have a meditation practice, even if it's 20 minutes. I always take my vitamins. This is so key. I always take my nutrients. I eat organic vegetables. And, it almost makes you look when someone says, I make a point of eating 5 organic fruits and vegetables a day. Right.
And you always say the more colorful, the better.
Right. So it's that consistency. And if you can, because business owners should, have a planned schedule for their day. They try to get up around the same time every morning. They go to sleep about the same time every night. So there's patterns to it.
Oh, and then some of the things that I'm constantly reminding the patients, because I notice them strongly with myself, is to make sure I'm getting enough water.
Yeah.
In the day. And coffee and tea and almond milk, that's not the same. So the water is key. Our cells need water. Movement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I'm a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. Every person that leaves my office or I'm speaking with, it's like, okay, take a breath in, move the shoulders back. Now exhale. You just did yoga. It's so easy. And I think also explaining to our clients and patients that we're each like this tapestry. You get to design it, and it's body, mind, and spirit. You can't just say, I'm going to learn everything and get out there and market the heck out of my business and not, take care of your body, because you're going to end up, having snags in your tapestry.
There's really interesting stats that the divorce rate of entrepreneurs is higher than the average population. The obesity rate of entrepreneurs is higher than the average in the population. Illness rates are higher. And my general belief, right, is that as a business owner, and again, I can be guilty of this, it feels so all-consuming that you
Right.
forget about everything else, and you feel like you're in crisis. You're not really. The truth of the matter is you're not. But it feels that way. And so what are your guys' tips? So, I always am amazed, and every time I hear you or others say it, I'm always like, oh my goodness, Crystal, like sleep, drink water, take my vitamins, move my body, right? Like it's not rocket science, but yet we don't do it. How do you get your patients to actually do it? What are your recommendations for that?
Well, it's funny because I think we both go at it from different, depends who's, who they've signed up with, whether, because some people will say, oh, I really want to work, because they work with both of us,
but they'll start with
one or the other. And I think we have mine is more the direct route. And I go, listen, they go, oh, I forget. I go, listen, you have paid thousands of dollars for one of these, right? These are called smartphones.
Is there an alarm clock on this? Is that how that works? Yeah.
Thousands of and so people will say, oh, I forget. And there is no reason for that. Set these little alarms. And I honestly, now I get kudos to anyone that we're online and we're talking to somebody and all of a sudden it's ding, 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 ding. And they'll say, oh, I have to take my vitamins, and then there's a great book, and it's called Being the Rhinoceros, or the Rhinoceros Thought. And they talk about, the rhinoceros just charges forward no matter what, charges forward. But I always say that the rhinoceros sleeps every night a lot. Mm-hmm. They eat a lot of vegetables every day, right? And they what? They go to the watering hole every day, right?
The water.
So they're drinking their water, they have consistent sleep, and they eat a lot of vegetables. So go ahead and be this rhinoceros, but self-care is almost more important than a business plan.
I think it is more important than a business plan. I would say that as someone that helps people with business plans, I do actually believe that. And I've talked so much in sort of my more recent entrepreneurial years about the fact that, right, like when you own a business, you and your business are connected so deeply, right? You're not the same, and I don't think you should think you're the same because you want some healthy separation, but you're deeply connected, right? How good I am today is how good my business will be today. And if I'm having a bad day because I'm overtired and I'm stressed out and I'm sick, my business is going to have a bad day. I mean, that's just the truth. And so there is we talk in Slap all the time, like there is a choice, like, we're adults. You need to at some point just make a choice to take care of yourself, and I think at some point we just need to get to the point where we realize we have to take that choice.
In the beginning, when I started the business before Candace joined, I imagined the business as being like a newborn, being like, or a pet. Mm-hmm. I had to create boundaries. I had to have some separation. I wanted a support system for it because our practice, even today, is because we still have the brick and mortar, is word of mouth practice. We've never had to advertise, which is great. That's creating that support system. Your cheerleaders.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Talk to me about vitamins. I know that this is your guys' one of your favorite topics. So I'm an entrepreneur and I say, guys, I'm not going to have 27 little pill bottles around. I travel all the time. Give me the quick and dirty. What do I actually need to take?
Like the 5 basic.
Okay. So here's our 5. Number 1, an organic, high quality multivitamin.
Okay.
And this isn't something you buy from a big box store.
Yes.
You do some research. We cannot on this recommend a certain.
But there are a lot of great companies.
There's a lot of great companies.
Go into a health food store.
But think about this. You want to put organic veggies in your mouth and organic fruits in your mouth and grass-fed meat. Why wouldn't your vitamin be the same?
Organic. Okay.
So organic multi.
And the reason we take a multi is mainly for the B complex, because we need the B vitamins for our nerves, for our brain, and also to help with every process, including making energy and healing our bodies. I would say another one that's super important that I absolutely love is magnesium.
You guys have turned me on to magnesium. Yes.
Magnesium is so amazing. Magnesium is a macro mineral that we need. And I always explain to my patients, if they have any tension in their bodies, that calcium that we get easily from our food and dark greens helps us contract the muscle. But magnesium helps the muscle create normal tone. So you think about if you are constantly tight because your muscles are in a hyper toned state because you're deficient in magnesium, which at least 80% of Americans are. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but
probably similar.
Depleting the soil of magnesium, so we can't get it from our food. We end up being anxious, uptight, tense. It's a main cause of migraines and calf spasms and inability to sleep. And get this, a craving for carbs and chocolate, because carbs and chocolate have a little bit of magnesium.
Oh, that's so interesting. Really?
So I actually am thinking about magnesium as a way for people to control their
cravings,
weird food cravings. Yeah.
Fascinating.
You can take that orally, but you can also use it topically. That's what an Epsom salts bath is.
Just make sure it's not magnesium oxide.
Yeah, that can be absorbed.
And the way you remember that is oxide starts with an O, and it's oh no, you do not want to take that
because you're
oxide. Yeah.
You'll sleep like a baby. Magnesium's great. Just start with a small dose, like 100
milligrams.
Interesting.
When you guys first told me magnesium and explained it the way you do, I did think to myself, right, what do you hear every entrepreneur talk about? Oh, my neck is stressed. I can't sleep very well. I'm stressed. I feel so tight. I'm like this, all hunched over all day. And I did think to myself, if every business owner just took magnesium, I bet you it would actually have a massive impact on the global economy. It would probably actually.
I know, right? I know. They call it the chill pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this,
a lot of businesses do that. We might actually buy a box of magnesium for every one of our slapsters before we start working with them.
In fact, one brand named itself Calm, because this is magnesium that you put in water, right?
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
But think about this. Magnesium is essential for over 300 different chemical cascades that are supposed to happen in the body.
It's crazy.
And on top of that, 85%, like Kim said, 85% of the population is deficient in it.
Crazy.
So right from the get-go, no matter what your age, you could be a 20-year-old slapster, right?
Yep.
You could be a 50. You are already behind the 8 ball if you don't have enough magnesium.
Okay, so I'm going to take an organic multivitamin, magnesium, without oxide, noxide, no oxide.
Like magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, so you can absorb it.
Right. And then my other, you have to have D3K2.
So vitamin D3 is what we make from the sun. Here in Chicago, Canada, you can't make that even on a sunny day from, say, September to May, because the sun's too low in the sky.
And how many entrepreneurs actually go outside?
I was going to say, and how many people are in front of their computer for all the sun hours, right? So when you do go outside, it's not sunny. I mean, that's a reality.
Right.
In fact, vitamin D is called the happy vitamin because it helps make the brain, it sparks happiness. It helps heal the gut. It
cognitive function,
boosts your immune system big time. And it's best absorbed actually with magnesium.
With magnesium, you guys told me, right?
And with vitamin K2.
K2.
Not K1, but K2. And they've shown that people that get kidney stones, gallstones, and arthritis at the joints, often that's because of all the extra calcium running around, and because D3 does help you absorb calcium, but it's the K2 that sends it to the bones. Turns out bones are boring, but the K2 says, go to your room. Go to the bones.
That's so interesting. Okay, so I'm going to take organic multivitamins. I'm going to, and that's primarily to get vitamin B. I'm going to take magnesium.
And trace minerals.
Okay, and trace minerals. I'm going to take magnesium to chill out. I'm going to take vitamin D to get happy.
Yep. Right.
And then anything else?
Yeah, and omega-3.
That's right, omega-3. Okay.
Right. And
fish oil.
Here's the for this one is it must be a 2-to-1 ratio of these two little acronyms, EPA and DHA.
And they're just different components of the fish oil,
right.
Or at least a 1-to-1 ratio. The DHA is mainly for the brain and the eyes, and the EPA reduces the inflammation. So they're both really great, both for brain function and immune system.
Right. So again, you want to buy a high quality one. And so people will go in and they'll be standing in line at, the drugstore or, the big box store. And there's these like things here, right? So keep in mind those big horse pills that you see, everybody thinks that that's full of fish oil. Well, it's not. There's a suspension oil in there. And then there's a little bit of omega-3s. Oh, and you do not need omega-6. You do not need omega-9. It's omega-3, right? And so you want to make sure, because where does it come from? It comes from fish. So you want to say it's small, it's caught from small fish, because the bigger the fish, the more mercury that's in them.
It just
the more toxins that they're carrying.
Exactly. Right. So this is one of those that, you look, and this one's $20 for 5,000 and this one's $20 for 50. That one, most likely the more expensive one, is actually the one that is going to be higher quality. Okay. So, we tell everybody these things with these caveats, because if you're taking, can I say crappy? If you're taking a crappy omega-3, right, a low quality one.
I have to edit that out. No, I'm just joking.
When you take a lower quality omega-3, you're actually creating free radical damage in your cells,
which leads to cancer. So you don't want to be ever taking any rancid oil.
Right.
So it's worth.
Let me say all the things I think people are going to say. And I want you guys to give me your answers, because I know you're going to have good answers. There's going to be people that say, I think vitamins are a bunch of baloney, right? Like, this is a big scam. Everyone's pushing their vitamins. They don't work. I mean, there's definitely the critics of like vitamins and nutritional supplements out there. What do you say to that?
I'll take that one. I would say.
Oh, I want to take. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I know you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll let you say your part about the food, but I was going to say, we've never lived at a time where we've been this stressed.
Hmm.
They say that every time you have more choices, you have increased stress. Just your phone rings.
Yeah.
You have to decide, do I pick it up? Do I send it to message? Do I answer it now? Do I answer it later? That was just in a split second.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. It's just increased stress. And stress uses a lot of B vitamins and magnesium.
So it's
right there.
depleting you of the things that you need that you already don't have enough of.
Exactly. And as Candace tells her patients.
So don't forget, this is from Dr. Wall, W-A-H-L. It's called the Wall Protocol. She's a brilliant, physician out at University of Iowa hospitals. So she came up with this herself, and she said, if you eat 3 heaping cups of heavy greens every day, that's like your kale and your Swiss chard and spinach, and then you eat 3 cups of color laden vegetables and some fruit if you want to berries.
Your asparagus and your
berries. And then you eat 3 cups of sulfur laden vegetables. So that's like your Brussels sprouts and your broccoli and your leeks. So you see how your 1 cup of broccoli, or even half a cup, doesn't fit into, you can't put it in both categories.
Yep.
And you eat grass-fed animal proteins, you still need vitamins.
Right? And how many people are eating even a fraction of that on an average day?
She has a, but she says, raise your hand. And I have my patients. I say, so how close are you to that? And people will say, well, I eat a salad. Right. Lettuce has basically no nutritional value.
Romaine's better, but most lettuce, it's roughage, but it's not going to give you that impact that you want and need. And especially as a small business owner.
Yeah.
Because we as small business owners, we've got to be there. If we're not feeling great,
you still got to show up.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and
go ahead.
So the last thing on this is, most of the time, small business owners are also paying for their own insurance.
Yes.
Right. And most of the time they've elected for these incredibly high deductibles. And I contend, even if you spend $100 to $150 a month on your vitamins, that is cheaper than the copay that it's going to cost you if you get sick. It's like an insurance policy, right? It's there. That's,
Now you're talking money. Now they'll listen. Yeah.
Now they'll listen. Now that we're talking money. Absolutely. And the 5th one is probiotics.
Right.
Because the probiotics, that's creating our serotonin, our feel-good hormone. That's like 80% of our immune function. And a lot of our patients will come in and say, well, I have a yogurt every day, or I'll have a little bit of sauerkraut. And it's like, yes, but let's think of the journey. It has to go to the stomach, and the majority of that good stuff is destroyed by the hydrochloric acid of the stomach.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. So unless you're having a good size amount, 3 meals a day, just take the probiotic, because it's going to have an enteric coating, which means it's not phased by the hydrochloric acid. And then it opens up, and it's like you're creating this wonderful health producing community of good bacteria.
It's interesting. I don't know why I'm thinking of it this way. This is probably not a perfect analogy, but a business strategy, right, is every business owner agrees. You can't do everything yourself. You've got to delegate. You've got to give it to other people. You've got to recognize where you're strong and where you're weak, and you've got to, supplement your weakness, right, when it comes to your business skill as you run your business. And as you guys are describing the vitamins, it's the same strategy, right? You've got to delegate. Unless you are prepared to essentially eat vegetables all day long, every day, and have no time to do anything else, you've got to delegate that nutrition to a vitamin. You've got to supplement. If you're weak in magnesium or vitamin D, well, that's fine, but you've got to supplement that. You've got to supplement your weakness so that something else can help you. And actually, if you just think of it as being very strategic, right? How do you optimize how you operate your body, right? Yeah. Just like how do you optimize how you operate your business?
Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay. You guys talked about, so drink water, take vitamins, sleep well. Yeah. Is there move? Is there something that you think is like the starting point? If there was one habit that someone was going to develop, I know that they're all important. I know they're all connected, and you know, you can't sort of be whole without taking care of everything. But is one of them really a linchpin to the rest? Or is there something that you would say is like just the non-negotiable starting point?
That's a good question. I know that we do not have a standard treatment plan.
Yep.
That we take each individual, you know, where they are and with their personality. And some of our patients, you know, it's like, we'll try a little bit of each.
Yep.
And increase. And sometimes it's not like that. You've got to say, okay, we're just going to get you on these 2 nutrients, and that's going to get you feeling better physically and emotionally. And then you're going to have the momentum and the determination to continue.
So yeah, mine would always be the nutrients. Okay. And if I was to say, okay, what's number 1 on the list? Vitamin D. In my book,
vitamin D
is crucial. 60, if your number, because I always say, know your number.
She wants to have t-shirts made. Vitamin D, know your number.
What's your number? Right? Because people say, well, I don't know, you know, and
I have no idea.
Right. And the scary thing is that most MDs will not order that blood test. You have to ask for it, and it's cheap.
It's not part of the standard CBC.
And people will say, oh, my doctor said it isn't normal. It isn't necessary. If your doctor says that, get a new doctor.
Yeah.
That's how adamant I am.
And they need to change what's considered normal, because they feel that if it's 0 to 30, that's low. But if you're at 30, the doctor will just say, you're fine.
Right.
You're fine. No, there are so many symptoms between 30 and
65.
And 60 that, I mean, like depression and gut issues and skin problems, that we tell people really the sweet spot, that's where you want to be. You don't want to just be getting by with your body, your emotion, or your business. Yeah. You want to be in that sweet spot. That's going to be like 65 to 90.
Okay. And I'm going to even say, I'm going to take your vitamin D and up, what is it? See your vitamin D and whatever the poker term is, I can't remember. But you said something that was compelling in other conversations, that when you combine vitamin D and magnesium, it actually makes the vitamin D even more effective. And I just think, you know, knowing the level of stress and sort of sustained tension that the average business owner carries, that magnesium vitamin D combo is so exciting, actually, to think about what that could do for an average business owner.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. You know, because
like
the other thing is that, okay, we can't get sick.
Right. That's right.
So think about this statistic. If your vitamin D is 65 or higher, you have the guarantee that you will not get 65% of all immune issues.
Wow.
Awesome. That's
amazing.
That's money. That's bank right there.
Right. There's a literal return on investment on that, right? Yeah. Because you know that you're going to be there to be able to run your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So interesting. Okay. Can you guys explain things so well. I think my theory is that the average business owner is living under a sustained level of stress, whether they actually register that they're stressed or not. So I always say very honestly, you know, whenever I go to a doctor or a naturopath, you know, I don't think I'm stressed. I think I'm handling it fine. I've got lots of energy. I'm tenacious. I'm good. I'm great. You know, and then, you know, we test my adrenals and it's like disaster, you know, borderline failure. So can you explain in the way you guys do so well, like what is stress, and what's happening in our bodies and our minds when we are stressed, even if we don't register that we're stressed?
Okay, so we have this little primitive area of our brain back in there, and it's called the hypothalamus, right? There's 2 areas, the hypothalamus and the amygdala, right? So I'm oversimplifying this. So, you know, if there's an MD or somebody out there and says that's a bunch of bunk, just bear with me. Okay, so here's this little area in the back of your brain. It doesn't see us. It doesn't see you. It sees you as a reproducing female, right? That's what the whole thing runs on the signals that it gets and the hormones. We have all kinds of hormones in our bodies that do all this signaling, right? And so they send messages up to this area. How we doing? Okay, we're good, right? And so when we get into a stress response, different signals go up and hit that area. And so it's in charge of saying, uh-oh, downline, there's something happening. Shut down.
Yeah.
Right. And so then this cascade happens, and it's, I always say, because people say, well, why am I gaining weight? Well, the stress factor is the big one, because it says shut down metabolism. We are down to, we're in a brownout.
We're going to send all of the energy to the heart, the lungs, and the big muscles. So you can either fight that enemy or you can run away from it. The basic fight or flight.
It's essentially redirecting your resources to the critical areas and taking it away from everything else.
In other words, nothing's going to digest your food.
Right.
Yep.
Nothing's going to relax the neck.
So that's okay. When I always use the analogy, people say, oh, you're being chased by the saber-toothed tiger. Well, most people can't envision that, but it's like you're running for the bus, right? Or you're in that time-sensitive situation. The sprint, right? And you get there, and this adrenaline rush is supposed to say, okay, got there. Okay. And it shuts down.
Right.
But what we've gotten to point is that we've gotten this adrenaline, and then the cortisol just keeps us on this. And so we're all up here going
sustained in this unhealthy place.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's why we're at this point in our existence as humans that we don't even know. We don't even know how you think you get up in the morning and everything's good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like somebody going like this to you all the time.
Right.
You just get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the original stress studies were done by Hans Selye, and it turns out that he mainly studied men.
Interesting.
Right. So when they started doing the stress response in women, they found that, yes, there is some of the fight or flight component. That's just what cortisol does. However, after a certain amount of time, and also with a number of the women, because you can't always fight or flee, if you're cooking dinner and you have babies,
right,
is that you collectively come together, you tend and befriend. So I'm thinking, as small business owners, it's important that we see what's working with others. And it's kind of my dream that guys could, do some of this tend and befriending, and all together we learn how to use, movement, breath, connection, and just, to calm our collective adrenals down so that we can be more harmonious and not this stressed mess.
And I imagine it's true. I mean, you guys tell me if not. When you're living in sustained stress and your body feels like, even subconsciously, that it is in reaction mode or protection mode, I mean, you cannot be in a position to make good decisions. I mean, if we want to bring this all the way back to the most practical of practical, like you can't be present to see what the person you're pitching is really thinking, or you can't be clear-headed enough to make strategic thoughts. Like, what's your guys' either theory or science on, the genuine repercussions of operating in that level of sustained stress consistently? I mean, there's repercussions for it, right? That old story of, well, I'm a tough business owner, I'll just get through it. Like, I don't think that that's true, actually.
I think that when there is that high level of stress, it comes with its own agenda and it's self-driven. And with that in mind, there's less true communication, less give and take, less flexibility with what the world's going to send your way for yourself and for your business.
And because we're operating at this, survival, even if we, even if people don't understand that that's where they are, that's where they are. Yes. And so then rather than being able to make an educated, calm decision that's going to help my business move forward, a lot of times it's this knee jerk. I got to do this. I got to do this. And you're talking from your hypothalamus,
from your
rather
brain.
Than not, your rational self.
And so with that in mind, we'll often explain that the adrenals are great for putting the pedal to the metal, and your race car, and maybe even a really
And
great
there's
race
moments as a business owner where you need the ability to push
where,
limits.
where you need
Right.
that. And then there are times where you've got to slow down and change the tires and get gas. And that's the vagus nerve. So there are all these tools, and we're discovering more tools that help regulate the vagus nerve. And that's putting the brake on. That the vagus nerve, vagus means wander, it's the nerve from the brain that comes along the jaw. Breath will help because it goes to help with digestion, the heart, and the lungs. So breathing, slow, deep breaths is a way of putting the brake on. There's some crazy ways of doing it. There, a cold rinse after a shower, or splashing cold water on your face is a way to do it. Meditation, forest bathing. There's some essential oils that are great because it goes in at a cellular level.
I love just the practical tip of, imagine if every entrepreneur committed that at the end of their shower every day, they do the cold rinse to reset their vega, right? Just simple. You're in the shower anyways. It's 4.5 extra seconds. It's a little pop, something like all these little things that we can do. It doesn't, I continue to believe, right? We become our best selves because of small actions every single day, over and over and over again for a sustained period of time, right? You don't go to a boot camp and automatically become the best version of yourself, right? It's these small decisions every single day for a long period of time.
Right.
Okay, so last question for you guys. If you were going to challenge every small business owner listening to this conversation to do one thing, and you may have answered it with vitamins, but we'll just reiterate if that's what it is. One challenge. We'll give each of you one, and that way you can have two. What is your challenge to take one action right now? What would it be?
You go.
Is this on top of the vitamins?
Yeah, let's do an extra. Yeah, let's do that.
So if I was going to say, get your sleep under control.
Okay, good.
Sleep is, I had someone I talked with yesterday, and for years, this gentleman was, he was on the fast road. He was buying properties and flipping properties and everything else. And he had a full-time job on top of it. And he would tell me, oh, I don't go to sleep till 2 a.m. and I get up at 7 or 6. And I've been doing fine with this for years. Well, guess what? The wheels came off his car, and he is not feeling well right now. And he said, you were right. As soon as I started to look at, because a lot of people will keep their papers that we've, talked about over the years. And I've said this to him for years. You have to have 6 to 9 hours of sleep. 7 to 9 is quality bank.
Okay. So yours is sleep. I
So
would say mine.
Sleep, and Kim with the big finish.
I would say breathing. And by that, we think we breathe all the time, but yoga and meditation traditions, and now the Western research about the vagus nerve, if you start with the breath, it's going to calm the mind. It's going to help with focus. I would say breath.
Amazing. Okay. And how do people find you? So I'm a big believer that we should buy from each other. We should buy from small businesses. We should support each other's businesses. What can people buy from you? How do they work with you?
So we have consulting packages, and we have protocols and coaching. You can go onto our website. You can contact us via email. The website is kimandcandace.com. We also have a great time. We have we have our brick and mortar
outside of Chicago.
We
love visitors.
And that's called tragerhealing.com, Trager. And we have 2 YouTube channels. And so one of my fun things that I get to do in all of my spare time is I love to cook.
So she does cooking videos, and you've taught cooking classes. Yeah. So that's really fun.
we have quite a little collection of just fun, and it's the stuff that we're talking about with you, but it's, we have quite a few videos out there that are, it's just our YouTube channel, Trager Healing YouTube, and Kim and Candace. So we try to keep everything, and the same with our Facebooks. We have like this duality, so if you don't think that's stressful, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a topic for another series. Yeah.
So we have kimandcandace.com and tragerhealing.com, and we talk about our nutrients on there. I think I have recipes on Traeger.
I show movements, meditations.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. I love you dearly. I hope that business owners can find you, because I think I know, right? If they take care of themselves, they will be better and their business will be better. I know that for sure.
And the other tip we want to leave everybody with is everything can get better. It can start healing. Your body can start healing in as little as 4 days. Research shows it.
That's wonderful. Crazy.
Right.
Amazing.
So there's nobody that's like, oh, I'm just off the charts.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be helped. Yes,
Right.
you can be.
I know, we business owners, we're impatient, right? So 4 days, we can deal with that.
4 days, give me a month and you will feel fabulous.
Amazing. Thank you, ladies.